forcing woke political ideology in our school curriculum. This is all fine to the Biden administration as long as our children learn about woke politics and something called gender identity. Parents are outraged, and this indoctrination of our young children must stop.
My Republican colleagues have decided to weaponize their newfound majority. Republican reforms, including the Parents' Bill of Rights, are nothing more than political posturing.
So if you care about your kids and everything and what they're being taught in school instead of actually being taught what they go to school for, it's political, okay? You don't care about your kids and everything like that. You know, you endanger their kids and all that if you don't let the school take your right to be a parent away from you and instead teach them crap and then lie to you about it afterwards.
Democrats and Republicans clashing over parental rights in a spirited education hearing there. The issue coming to the forefront is parents have fought against critical race theory, woke lessons, and gender identity issues. Another tense exchange over schools hiding students' gender transitions from their own parents. Watch this.
Appropriate for an adult teacher to talk to an 8-year-old girl about changing her gender.
These are not part of our state standards or curriculum. What's important is that the teachers, the principals, meet the needs of all learners, all students.
You haven't answered the question yet.
Obviously, if parents want to have discussions with other kids about what they think or don't think.
We just want to know, is it appropriate or not appropriate?
Schools have to deal with every variety of diversity that society has and keep the focus on learning.
The school's job is to teach the kids, not to push agenda and woke crap onto everybody without the parents' permissions.
Virginia lawmakers passed a bill this week banning schools from hiding a child's gender transition from their parents. Florida and Alabama already passed similar laws. Indiana is weighing a bill on the issue as well. Ian Pryor, executive director of Fight for Schools and senior advisor of America Legal First Legal, I should say, is with me on set here in Washington, D.C. today. Ian, great to see you. It is hard to believe that you have to pass a law to make sure parents know about something so important that's happening with their children. But it's not just on this gender transition issue. We're being kept out of everything.
Well, that's right. And the gender issue is so important because it really starts at the beginning. What they will do is, they will create this narrative, whether it's books in the library or how they teach young children, and they're really denying biology and saying, well, just because you were born a biological male or girl, that does not mean that you have to stay that way. That's arbitrary. So they put this idea in very early, and then when they get to 6th, 7th, 8th grade, it becomes something, whether it's for acceptance, whether it's for fitting in. Kids start adopting this. It gives them some level of protection, almost like a civil right. And then they start using pronouns, and they start wanting to use a different bathroom, and the school won't tell the parents. And the reason why the school won't tell the parents is because they see this as healthcare, right? The HHS says gender affirming care is healthcare. And they say that if parents don't support this, they are denying children health care. Therefore, it creates an abusive situation. That's why they don't tell the parents.
They're blocking us. I mean, right? You're saying that eventually kids have something akin to a civil right, so we can't touch that. And then they're protected by health care. There's HIPAA. Apparently, we can't touch that either. I mean, they have blocked us out. It's like a hockey game. We're getting checked. According to a school choice advocacy organization, there are currently 76 different educational choice programs on the books in 32 different states. Senator Tim Scott is an outspoken advocate for these kinds of programs and spoke to the Faulkner Focus. As you know, he was on with us recently.
Parents deserve as many options as humanly possible. The more options a parent has, the better chance the child has of succeeding in life. Your zip code should not determine the quality of your life. The current environment is saturated with adults who have power, and that power means they decide where the money goes. Unfortunately, we need an education system designed for kids, not for adults.
According to an education advocacy group, the Tracker, there are 84 parents' rights bills that have been introduced in 26 states. They've only passed 4: Arizona, Florida, Georgia, and Louisiana. Why aren't those bills passing?
Well, I think what you're seeing is that Democrats are making the same mistake that they made in Virginia in 2021.
You live in Loudoun County, right?
And what we saw was that they just thought, oh, this is some, manufactured Republican issue that is being used for elections. In reality, that's not what happened. You had, decades of left control of schools, and parents just assumed, I'm going to send my kid to school, they're going to learn math, they're going to learn science, they're going to go to college. But really what they were doing is they were engaging in some degree of social engineering. COVID happens, parents start to wake up, and then you start getting parents into the fight, many of whom will tell you, I've never voted for a Republican in my life. So this is not a thing where people just put on their team jerseys for their political parties. These people are really concerned about what's going on. They're not your usual political actors, and Democrats continue not to get it, and they're going to pay the price for it eventually at the polls.
So give us some hope.
Well, I think you're seeing a lot in Florida. You're seeing a lot in Virginia. Iowa passed school choice. You've seen school choice in Arizona. I think what Senator Scott said, really hits the nail on the head. You've heard from equity people, and they'll say, well, people shouldn't be, their future shouldn't be determined by their zip code. Exactly. It shouldn't be determined by their zip code. If you live in a wealthy area, you can afford to pull your kid out of school if you don't like what's going on and send them to private school. If you don't, you are stuck at whatever school is in your zip code. That is not fair. It is not competitive. And if you look around the world and see what other countries are doing, we're going to fall behind even further in the coming years.
Well, Ian, the group that you lead is Fight for Schools. You must be extremely busy right now, fighting for schools and for children and for parents. I thank you for being on The Focus.
Thanks for having me.
Good to see you.
Hey, everyone.
Now, I had to do it this way and all that because they've actually muted this 2 different times now. So hopefully TikTok doesn't mute this again because I'm actually keeping record of all this stuff. Because people need to know this.